Yo,
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 yo.
yo. What's up, Protege Squad? It's your boy, Prodigy, in the building. And for this series that we've got going on, we have the finale with none other than Rhymestyle himself. Oh
Oh,
my
you
goodness.
got me in the finale
The finale, dog.
though? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Just got done editing, and now we're doing this.
Man, I love your background there, man. You've got some epic stuff there, dude.
Yeah, I mean, growing up was always like you're always being told like, hey, you don't have time for this stuff. You gotta drop the Pokemon, the Dragon Ball, yada yada yada. No, you don't. If you want to make it work, and if you want to live and love with your hobbies for as long as you can, it's in the power of anybody can do it basically.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, first off, I want to ask you here, how did you come up with your name, Rhymestyle? I'm sure a lot of people are curious on that.
So that's actually an interesting one. So I've had that since high school because as I was graduating high school, I got into like music a lot, like in the music industry type of thing. And it wasn't until I got into college I started to kind of dabble in like the music industry, and that's where I was going to work. So the name Rhymestyle just always had since high school. So when I was like going into music, I just kind of kept that. And on top of that, every time it came down to making like a username or picking a screen name or anything online, whether it be in a game or stuff like Twitter, it was just available. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just do Rhymestyle. The reason why is because it's like when you have a name that stands out, people remember it better. And the thing that really made me stick to that name is when I was first getting into the music biz back in the day, people always be like, oh yeah, Rhymestyle, I've seen you on Twitter. And I'm like, yeah, I got that name. So that's where it came from. And then when I started doing YouTube and stuff, I just kind of kept that persona.
So you said music industry. So, I mean, do you freestyle a little bit? Do you dabble in that? Or are
No,
you
no,
talking
no.
like,
I did digital marketing because
okay,
like at the time, I grew up with the internet. I knew how social media worked. I knew the importance of stuff like MySpace, Facebook, and then Twitter as it was popping out, and stuff that the music industry wasn't really accustomed to yet. They were fighting for like the longest. I used to just basically help our artists get more out there and in touch with stuff like social media and just digital marketing, being able to just like get the maximum amount of reach for your music is what I used to do.
oh wow,
And
man.
then I realized I hated it. I wanted out of it, and here I
Which
am.
I guess that brings up a good point. Tell me like the timeline of when you started YouTube, and then as you progressed, did you ever see it ever taken off the way it did?
So it's a good question. Basically, what happened was, as I was getting ready to graduate college, I realized I hated it. So I started to kind of fall into something else, and that was like the startup world on the tech side. I saw myself going that direction, and that's when I actually got an internship because of music, actually, with a job that I had out in Southern California. Now, when I was doing the internship, I ended up going to Comic Con, and I met a lot of content creators that I didn't know. Like, I didn't know this world existed. And I met a lot of content creators who basically played video games for a living on YouTube, stuff like that. And they told me about this. I'm like, you mean to tell me I could do this? Now, what a lot of people don't know is in college, I had a podcast that I ran on a weekly basis. It got to the point where I actually started running twice a week. And it actually developed a pretty decent reach over the 2 years that it ran. But then what happened is the podcast service that I was using ended up going out of business and then just shut down without telling everybody. So, like, out of nowhere, they just pulled the plug on the show. And like, so I used to always create some kind of content when I was in college. Just, me and my friends just goofing off. And I used to always play a lot of music for like the new up and coming artists at the time. And when I stopped doing that, I always just had this like empty feeling, like I wanted to create, but I just didn't know how. So when
Right.
I actually did the internship and I came back afterwards and I found out that YouTube existed, like I knew YouTube existed, like, you go on YouTube just to see a couple of viral videos, yada, yada, yada. But I didn't know that people actually made like content on a daily basis, playing video games and stuff like that. So when I came back from college or my internship back in college, I started uploading on YouTube on like maybe like once every couple of days, and just because it was just fun. Because again, as someone who was basically always creating content for my podcast, I wanted to keep doing it, but I didn't know where and how to do it. So when I found out YouTube existed, that's when I basically began. But it wasn't until like 2013 where I kind of like jumped into my niche, which was Dragon Ball at the time, and that's when it really started growing. Because like what I realized about YouTube is everyone's uploading. You got millions of people who want to be content creators, but like if you're not doing something that's different that stands out, it's hard to stand out. And at the time, nobody was doing Dragon Ball, which is basically there was like a handful of people doing it. So when I started doing Dragon Ball, it started basically leading to the point where I was growing a lot faster.
Right. Oh man. So, I mean, I guess following up with that, do you ever feel overwhelmed by posting the content daily to your YouTube channels, your other sites, Twitter, Instagram? Like, and how do you find the time to manage all that? Because you have a full plate on your hands, is what I see.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I mean, I was DMing you earlier. I'm like, I want to figure out some time to do this because I love doing stuff like this, but like it's always so busy. So I say this every single time I get this question asked, but I haven't missed an upload since 2014 when I went full time. I remember I had just hit 5,000 subs, and that's when I realized, you know what? If I do YouTube on a daily basis, I probably could do something with it. So since 2014 January, I have never missed a daily upload, and back then I used to do 2 videos a day. So it is very overwhelming. I think the part of that can get stressful is sometimes it's like when there's nothing really happening, it's like, what do I do for tomorrow? Because like for example, right now it was easy because, you know, one of the main games I play on my channel, Dragon Ball FighterZ, just got a new DLC character that was released 2 weeks ago now. And obviously when something like that happens, you can kind of focus on the content around that. But when there's nothing happening, it's like, what do I do? Because you don't always do the same kind of content.
Right.
But I think that the way I differentiate my stuff on the Dragon Ball side of YouTube is I don't stick to only playing one game. You know, like what a lot of people tend to do is whatever game they kind of like blow up with, they stick with it because that's what you sign up for. You know, it's like if someone subscribes to me because they want to see fighters content, it's smart for me to keep doing fighters content. But like what I've been doing is for like the past couple years is I try to stick on the side where I play every kind of Dragon Ball content for the games.
Yeah.
That way it's not always so mundane and it's the same stuff. I mean, granted, there's people who prefer that. You know, like for example, in Yu-Gi-Oh openings, I just want to see, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh packs open. You know, in Pokemon openings, I want to see Champions Path every single day. Like there are people who like that stuff, but me personally, just to like not burn myself out, I like to switch it up. So when there's nothing happening, it's like I don't know what to do. It's just it can get pretty overwhelming sometimes.
Well, if anything, I mean that's the one thing that stands out. I think is your name. It's not specific to one just genre, and I mean that's epic, man. That's intense. You got so much going on, man. I'm just like spinning thinking about it. You know.
What I learned to do recently is kind of like if I create this schedule that I stick to, it allows me to have more freedom in thinking, if that makes sense. So like on Mondays, I started doing Mario Maker 2, which I love that game. And I've done Mario Maker 2 every single Monday for the past like 9 months. Can't believe it's been that long, actually. So Mondays, I already know what I'm going to do. On Saturdays, I try to do one of the games I play is called Dokkan. I try to do like Dokkan summons on Saturdays. And Sundays and Fridays, I try to switch around between fighters content. So really what I have to think about is what am I going to do between Tuesday and Thursday. So it's like having like that schedule kind of makes it a bit easier figuring it out.
So you pretty much you schedule everything weekly too. I'm doing this day, this and this, and then if I have free time, I'm working on this. So wow, that's as simple as that.
Usually for pretty much all the games I play, they tend to update between Tuesdays through Thursdays. So if something happens, because like the thing is like whenever something hot or new happens within your games, you want to like cover it and play it immediately so you can get an algorithm. And on top of that, people just want to see like how you react to certain things within those games. Right. If they update between Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually that allows me to have, since I have those days kind of open to based on what's happening, I can just immediately hop in and be like, all right, here's a new Dragon Ball Legends summon, here's a new Dragon Ball FighterZ DLC character, yada yada yada. So that's why it makes it a bit easier to get the weekend already done early in the week. Because what I try to also do is, I said this to you on DMs the other day as well, but I try to have my weekends completely free from any kind of like creation just so I can kind of like rest. So what I tend to do between Mondays and Thursdays is I double up on my videos so I can get, so I have to do nothing on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's kind of like my time off.
So do you have them already scheduled, pre-advanced, already uploaded to YouTube? Like
right now, I have one video ahead, but what I'm gonna do tomorrow is when I wake up, depending on what's happening in one of the games I play, I'm probably gonna record 2 tomorrow and then 2 on Wednesday, and then that should cover like most of the week. And then at that point, by the time Thursday hits, I should be pretty much working on the end of the weekend.
Wow, man, that's epic. You're living the dream right now, Rhymestyle, man. I
mean, as long as you work in your own schedule, it works.
Right. No, that's one thing that's really nice is you know I can't do a video every day. I wish I had the time, you know, doing other stuff, you know, being a family man with my kids and wife and all that fun stuff. But man, I tip my hat to you on that. Just being able to put out content on a day-to-day basis where you really got people. If there's anybody that's an expert at it, hands down is you when it comes to that. It's like I like the fact that you literally, it's something to look forward to. You know, I think about what am I doing today, and like, oh, Rhymestyle's uploading another video. Oh, he's got one on his other channel, the openings channel. He's got this going. He's got this going. And let's
Well,
check his Twitter. What's going on here? You know?
that's kind of been my goal, because I realized as I was doing YouTube, you can't just rely on people subscribing, because like the way notifications work is, I think like when you subscribe to somebody, you have to subscribe basically again by clicking the notification button, and then you have to do it again if you want to do like all the notifications. So you can't rely on notification on the platform, because a lot of times, like, I'm sure you're gonna see this a lot over the course of your time on YouTube, but people always be like, "Oh, I didn't even see the notification was. I didn't even know you uploaded." So the reason why I was doing daily content in the first place is because I figured if people know that I upload every single day at noon, over time they'll know that you can go to the channel around then. Because again, like, I wish YouTube worked better, but it doesn't.
Well, the algorithm, I mean, hands down, it's I've noticed like the keywords that you put in the title, and I pulled this or this, and that makes a huge difference.
Like, it sucks because a lot of times people be like, "Oh, he spoiled us." Like, yeah, unfortunately, like I pulled the Ghost Raw the other day, and my title was literally "I pulled Ghost Raw Wing Dragon Raw."
That was dope, by the way.
And I hate the fact that we have to do this, but we have to, because like I've tested it. On my main channel, I pulled what was the Holy Grail in the Dragon Ball Super card set. It was Ultra Instinct Goku. And I remember I pulled that, and in about 3 weeks worth, the video did 30,000 views. So my channel usually tends to get about 50,000 views a video, like after like 2 days. It's just kind of like my average. And if it gets anything else, it's usually like the algorithm pushing it out. In 2 weeks, whatever title I originally had, the video only did 30,000 views, which is pretty low for my channel, especially like for the size and how active I am. Right. So what I did is I changed the title to that video to I pulled the rarest card in Dragon Ball Super. And now the video has 400,000 views because of that title. So it's like title. People don't see that, because if somebody pulls something fire, we don't want to say, "Hey, I pulled this." But if you don't, you get less reach. So it's like you have to play the game with YouTube. Otherwise, it's like you end up drowning amongst the millions of videos that get uploaded every single day.
Wow. So you just really got to play with the titles, and the content's already amazing as it is, but like literally the titles is the key. That makes sense.
Yeah, end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your video is. If the title and thumbnail don't really stand out and make people go, "I gotta click this," they're not gonna see it, unfortunately.
Which brings up another point, like thumbnails. You make the greatest thumbnails I've seen on YouTube.
They're okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It just it pops out. It's like I'm scrolling through, all of a sudden I see this one, and bam, it's overwhelming to the point I gotta click it. Like,
well, then that means I'm doing something right.
Yes, it's crazy. I guess switching the topic up a little bit, what actually got you collecting vintage old school products?
So I grew up with this stuff. As a kid, I was that one that never had a Charizard. I never had a Charizard my entire life. I always wanted one. That time came and passed. 2016 came around, they released XY Evolutions, and I'm like, they just reprinted base set. I kind of want to get into it. So I remember I looked up a couple of videos. That's how I found Leonhardt. And I started watching Leonhardt's videos of him opening Pokemon packs. I'm like, this is a lot of fun. Like, I got to do this. And I did it once, and then here I am now. It opened the world up to me that was missing my entire life. Because, if you do this for so long when you're a kid, then you go to college, you graduate high school, you forget about this stuff. You forget it's there.
Right.
But the second I came back to it, I immediately fell into it, and I was like, I got to do this more. And then, getting back into Pokemon, maybe we get back into Yu-Gi-Oh!, which I'm happy I did, by the way, because, I mean, you've seen how ridiculous Yu-Gi-Oh! Has gotten. When I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in 2016, 2017-ish, I want to say I got into Yu-Gi-Oh!, I started looking up all the original cards I used to have, the LOB Blue Eyes, the Dark Magicians, the Buster Bladers, Back then, first edition Blue Eyes was like $60. I remember I bought a starter deck Kaiba Blue Eyes for like $20. Got it graded, came back as a PSA 10. $20 first edition, right? And I remember I bought a LB Blue Eyes first edition as well. $70. I'll never forget. 70. I'm like, this is expensive,
Oh my God.
I bought a couple. So I bought a couple, got them all graded. And then once I got them all graded, I got a bunch of like 9s. I got a couple 10s. I gave them out to my friends. Like, hey, just so you know, I'm sure you remember these. So, I gave them out to my friends. 2 years later, I look at that same Blue Eyes and see the price tag of $2,000 as a played card. And I'm like,
what happened?
Yeah, so it's like, I'm glad I got to Yu-Gi-Oh! When I did again, because if I didn't, I would never have a chance to own any of this stuff.
Man, and that brings up a good point, too. I mean, I saw your story post the other day with your Blue Eyes collection, man. That was, Tell me a little bit about that.
That one's a bit more expensive. When I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot heavier in like 2019, that's when the prices started going up. I remember that DDS Blue Eyes specifically is one that I've always wanted, and I saw it pop up finally for the first time ever on Troll and Toad. I want to say it was like $400. And I remember at the time I was still kind of questioning, like, do I want to spend this much on a single card? I'll do it. And I bought the card because you never know. When you buy a card, it's near mint. It's not gonna be minted. You know, you're gonna have a scratch. You're gonna have some bends, yada yada yada. That Blue Eyes was perfect. And I remember I was like, $400. Oh my god!
And that was off
So I got
Troll
it
and Toad?
graded. Yeah, I got it graded. Came back as a 10, and I'm like, this is great. You know, back then it was like maybe like a $1,200 card as a PSA 10, but now it's like it blew up. It's like the most desired Blue Eyes card out there, next to the wavy yellow B Blue Eyes.
There's an auction today ending on the PWCC for that card. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like at 8,000 right now, I believe.
For the DDS?
Oh, DDS is like 6,500, and then the SDK is 8,000 pristine on PWCC right now on eBay. I think it ends in like two or 3 hours. So
I got on my watch list for Pokemon, but I didn't even think about checking Yu-Gi-Oh for that.
Yeah.
I gotta look that up.
Those are three big sales that should happen here in the next few hours. So
I gotta show you something just real fast. So I just did an opening yesterday. Yeah, literally yesterday. I opened up Haunted Mind. I pulled 2 of these from a box.
Oh man.
2 from a box.
Are they clean? You think they're gonna be 10s?
No, there's they got the standard scratches that Ghosters have. Probably be 9s, but still, like 2 in a box.
2 in one box.
Yeah,
that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Haunted Mind, every set's going up though, man. This market is nuts right now.
Yeah,
that's crazy. What would you say is your favorite card of all time? And curious why.
Buster Blader, probably. Which is funny because I don't have a 10. Buster Blader I had as a kid, and I don't know what it was. I just played it a lot. Maybe because a lot of my friends always played Dragon decks growing up. And obviously you have Buster Blader, you're going to win every single clash with it.
All right.
Outside that, I'm going to say Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes has just always been, like, Blue Eyes is the Charizard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like,
right.
It's a pretty plain monster, 3,000 attack, but the design is just so beautiful. And I guess I always had a Blue Eyes as a kid, like regardless if I never had like a deck that was kind of like followed like a specific meta or a theme, but I always had a Blue Eyes in the deck for no reason at all because I was just weird. I gotta say definitely Buster Blader and Blue Eyes because of that.
Wow. I understand the Blue Eyes. Buster Blader, I mean, it's a sick card, but I would have never imagined you'd have said that. That's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. You know what it was? Like I remember the Buster Blader I had as a kid had this like big crease in the middle. I don't remember what I traded to get it. I just know that the second I had it, I put it in my deck and I always used it.
Oh wow. What because I mean on your second channel, opening the Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon products, you pull a lot of epic cards. But is there like to you, what is the most nostalgic pull you've ever had, or like something where you were shaking, or just the most epic one ever that comes to mind?
Oh, so I have 2 to come to mind. First one being so back in 2018, I had a shadowless blister pack. I had a regular unlimited booster pack, and I had a first edition shadowless booster pack. I had those 3, and I intended on saving those for like getting to like 100,000 subs one day. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna say just do an opening. But I don't know what possessed me back in 2018. But I decided, you know what? I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna open this right now, and I'm gonna just sit in the video. In the video, I pulled in the first edition base pack. I pulled a Raichu holographic, so it was a heavy pack, which was kind of cool. And then the shadowless pack ended up being unlimited, so it wasn't shadowless. But I pulled the Blue Eyes. Now, not Blue Eyes. Wow, sorry, Charizard. So that was my first time I actually pulled a Charizard in my entire life from base set.
Wow.
I mean, obviously when I got X-Y Evolutions, I pulled the reprint, but that's not the same thing. And actually, since then, I have pulled Charizard twice now out of like base set pack openings. But the reason why that Charizard pull was so special was because number one, it was my first time actually doing it, and 2,
right.
I had bought that blister pack from I want to say Anime Expo back in like 2016 for like $70. And it was, if you look at my old videos, you always see like in the corner of my wall, you'll see like a blister pack hanging there.
Right.
That was the pack that I ended up opening, and the entire time it was just on my wall. I ended up cracking it open, and I ended up uploading that video and just privating in 2018. I actually ended up releasing that video like I want to say 3 months ago because I was like, let's just release it because it was kind of fire. But outside that, the next most craziest pull I probably ever had was when I pulled Gold Star Mewtwo, because at the time, if you buy a bunch of base set packs, eventually you pull Charizard because you have 12 hollows in it.
Right.
Gold Stars are, in my opinion, the most ridiculously hard cards to pull in Pokemon because you could buy several boxes and not get one. It's like pulling a Starlight, basically. Well,
right.
Probably not as rare as a Starlight, but yeah. And I remember at the time, I saw two packs on Troll. Again, it's always Troll and Toad. I saw two packs on Troll and Toad for like 40 a pop, and at the time I was like, that's kind of expensive. Let's do it. I bought the packs, and I opened both packs, and bam, there it is, a Gold Star Mewtwo. Wow. And then what's funny is maybe 3 weeks later, Troll and Toad had two more packs. It was Dragon's Frontier, and I pulled the Gold Star Mew out of two packs.
Oh my god!
So it's like whoever had those packs that sold the Troll and Toad, it's like you sold the two. You sold the two that had the Gold Star, which is ridiculous to me.
Man, I'm thinking like Troll and Toad myself. Like I don't really buy too much from them because I hear all the stories on Instagram where they're like, oh, I bought it from this, and they said it was near mint, and it came out light play or damaged, and
hashtag not sponsored. But the thing that I like about Troll and Toad is they have a good return policy, and that's the reason probably why I like to buy from them so much. I mean, I bought cards before they were mint, and I'm like, what is this? This is not mint. And they always like let me return it because if you sell something that's mint, it's not. That's fine. Obviously, if you buy from Troll and Toad and they would say no returns, it's different.
Right.
But because I've always had a situation where if something wasn't up to par of quality, they let me return it. So that's why I like their side a lot. And the thing is I have, except for one time, I have never bought packs that came weighed either. Because I remember what happened once is I bought a bunch of like the original print LOB packs with like the Square Konami logo.
Yeah.
And out of like 12, 16 packs, not a single hollow. So I'm like, okay, this has definitely been weighed. And I messaged them, and actually I got a partial refund back. And what's funny is I got a message from the person that sold to them was like, hey, I watched the video. I'm sorry. I sold it to them. Let me make this right. Let me send you some packs. I'm like, nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It happens. But outside that, I've never had a situation where I bought packs from them consistently where it was like weighed or issued. And if I did, they always gave me like a partial refund or they allow me to send the cards back when it wasn't actually minty. And that's something I like about them.
So sick return policy. They're like the Costco of trading cards then, right?
Yeah. I know people like TCG Player a lot, but ironically, I've had pretty bad experiences as a TCG Player solely because almost every time I bought a card there, people just send it in just an envelope. And I'm like, what? Can I get some padding at least? And then usually when I get the cards, I'm like, this is nowhere near. This is not minted. This is not even excellent. Like, bruh.
That's crazy.
That's what I always tell the people. I'm like, if you find a website, like a seller that has a good reputation and they have they will offer refunds and stuff like that when stuff isn't right, buy from them. Whether the sites I go to right now are Collector's Cash. I like Troll and Toad, and also the Car War is another nice one.
Have you messed with OfferUp or like Macari, other sites like that at all?
I have not because that usually requires talking to people in person, kind of like Craigslist. And I don't. I mean, it's not that I don't trust it. Especially with right now with the pandemic happening, right. I'd rather just not deal with people directly because you never know who's out there.
Exactly. No, that makes perfect sense. But you heard those websites, guys. Those are the ones you want to go to.
Yeah.
That's the hidden. That's
where I did hear about all of them. I did hear about all those sites.
For at least your collection, astounding collection, man. Just seeing that in the background there. But what do you see your collection goals for the rest of the year and following up with that the next 5 years?
So I don't really have goals, if that makes sense. I mean, I have goals, but not really. So right now, I kind of just collect what I like. I have a lot of my friends that always send me pictures like, hey, look what I got. I'm like, well, that's cool and all, but I don't really care for that. For me, my original goal when I got back into Pokemon back in 2016 was I wanted to collect all the Charizards, but then I saw how expensive they were, so I ended up saying no to that. Instead, I started collecting every single Mewtwo. Once I got every single Mewtwo, then I actually somehow ended up falling into Lugias and Charizards, and now I got to the point where I've kind of got everything I wanted from the card scene. So right now what I'm focusing more is the new stuff, literally right now, by the time we finish this call, I'm going to go out to a mailbox and there's going to be my Champion's Path boxes, finally, fingers crossed.
Ooh.
And maybe I can try to pull, the Shiny Charizard and the Hyper Rare one, I hope. But outside that, I got a lot more into sealed product, which is funny because I literally just bought a first edition Team Rocket box 7 hours ago, actually.
Oh, wow.
Quick show at the Poke Rev. I was on the Poke Rev and we actually ended up finding 2 boxes for a ridiculously good deal, and then we got them. And now I'm just kind of just satisfied, and I'm good with what I have. That makes sense,
right?
But then again, as a collector, you're never satisfied. At some point you're going to get hungry again. Maybe another card's going to pop up, another box is going to pop up from the path that you want, and then I'll kind of just go as that happens.
Oh, I feel you. If anything, I usually binge on obviously Yu-Gi-Oh products. That's my main focus. But my son is really into Sonic the Hedgehog. So I've been buying the whole market out of 1993 Supersonic Hedgehog booster boxes,
Wow.
and the packs and the Prism cards. Like, and I don't really know if is the value worth it in the future. Maybe, maybe not. But
I
it's
mean, you
nostalgic
never
for me.
know.
He
If you
loves
find
it,
someone
and like,
who's just as excited about it as your son is, people will be down for it. What I was also going to show you is what I also got into lately was seal packs because and not just seal packs, but I like to collect heavies also because it's a hollow inside it.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, having like a heavy Team Rocket pack is more exciting than having a light Neo Revelation pack. But I want to try to get every single heavy pack for the classics.
yeah.
I got this actually the other day. This is a heavy Shadowless pack with the long crimp.
Yeah, and those the acrylic cases there you got, those are cool, man. I saw those on
Kato
Etsy.
Shark.
And then who else? Someone on Instagram selling them, or is it probably the
Yeah,
same guy?
these are from Kato Shark. Yeah, and I love these. Like they're perfect. Initially I would love to get my cards graded, but I don't like what PSA. I don't think Becca grades cards. Only PSA does. I don't like how PSA bends the packs.
Yeah,
So if they
fold
were
at
to do
the
something like
top.
this, I will send them all these packs to get graded because that'd be great. But for now, it's like
Yeah,
this is
they fold the top, man. I don't understand that
yeah,
because I feel like I could damage even the
yeah,
wrapper. You know, if you ever
100%.
decide to pull it out or something. Um, have you ever really thought about like what the value is of your entire collection, just off the top of your head? That'd probably be hard
I I try not to because it would just give me anxiety.
to.
Because to me, it's funny. Like a lot of times, people will, they'll get super happy about their collection just because the value of it. I honestly never cared about it. People always ask me what are you going to sell it? It's it's not about selling it. It's just about collecting it. Yeah, I'm in a position where if I ever have to sell my stuff, it would, I could. Let's
Right.
say YouTube disappears tomorrow and I got to figure out, what to do. I could probably sell a couple boxes here and there. But it's never been about that to me. It was just about just getting that piece of your childhood that you once had and you never thought you'd ever get back again. And to me, that's priceless. Just having a Charizard that I never even had when I was 12 to me is just worth more than anything I could ever imagine. If that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. I think about like some of the items that I have that they're not really that valuable, but to me it's the sentimental value of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It was part of the show growing up when I watched it, or just part of my childhood, and I pulled this card when I was this young, and
Yep.
and it's not worth anything, but to me it is. So I totally get that. It makes sense.
What's your favorite card that you own that's not really popular? Popular in air quotes, because I mean, for all we know, someone else out there is going to go crazy for it as well.
Are we talking like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh? Anything
Let's,
specific?
let's keep it Yu-Gi-Oh specific because it's a bit easier, probably.
It's a good question.
I have a Silent Magician from Pharaoh's Duelist. What was it called? What was that box called? Rise of the Pharaoh or something like that. I have a PSA 10 of that because Silent Magician actually was one of my favorite spellcasters out there. That, of course, you got the Dark Magician Girl as well. But that card, I feel like not that many people care about, but I absolutely love the art and the playability of the card as well. And I have a PSA 10 of that, and that probably is one of my most favorite cards I own. And I know most people are really that? It's not a Dark Magician Girl?
I mean, my favorite card of all time is Genzo. But if you're saying for something that's not really popular or I'm trying the one that comes.
Tough,
yeah, it is tough, man. You caught me off guard on that one. I'm the one doing the questions. No, if anything, the one that comes to mind is the Fisherman card. I thought that was just a dope
Legendary
card.
Fisherman?
Legendary Fisherman. It's being a hollow. If you're saying just a common,
it could be anything. It's stuff that people don't usually bring up because, like I said, you ask me what my favorite monster is, I'm gonna say Blue Eyes. And if you ask anybody randomly what's your favorite card, they probably also gonna say Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, Red Eyes, yada yada yada.
Right.
But Legendary Fisherman probably is one that you wouldn't hear as often.
I mean, I'm thinking all the cards I'm thinking in my head are popular cards. I love Time Wizard. Gate Guardian was very nostalgic from the show. Let's see here. Common wise, I mean, this is weird, but I like Maneater Bug. I thought that was a dope card.
That's a good one.
That
card gave me trust issues when I was a kid because he's something is face down. It's do I dare? I'm gonna do it. And it's always a Maneater Bug. Always.
Well, it's a very, if you look at it artwork wise, it's very it's a dull card. You know, it's not
Mhm.
really a a big hollow or anything. It's just a super rare. So, but yeah,
Mhm.
that would be my answer there.
It's a good one.
um, and you were saying, a minute ago, like people always ask you, you're ever going to sell your collection. That was actually the follow up question to that previous one. So it sounds like you would never sell your collection in the future.
Unless I just need to, because lucky enough for me, I put so much effort and work in my main channel that I got to the point where it's not necessary. Like I'm good basically. But
Right.
like I say, you never know if something happens one day, or let's say Pokemon gets so ridiculous to the point where it surpasses Magic. I could probably get rid of a box or two, just if I need to get something. Like let's say it's an emergency, or if I want to move, I could do that. Because everything I bought in my collection I've got it when it was just nobody would wanted it. Like the most infamous one for me is I bought a Shadowless box about a year ago. Yeah, roughly a year ago. A guaranteed Shadowless box that has all like the I don't know how much you know about Shadowless boxes, but I got one that has all the signs that this is 100% Shadowless. You can see at the top that it's got the long term packs. I bought it for 14 grand, and at the time it was like, are you insane? And I'm
That's
like, yeah,
it's
I
a
probably
crazy
should have done
pickup.
it. You never know. But that same box today, especially when that first edition version of that box sold for $200,000 last week, it's
Hermitage
like,
auctions. Yeah.
I, you made the right choice buying that. I had a friend that I convinced to buy a regular base box about 2 months ago for 12 grand. Back when it was like around the 12-10 mark. He probably could have got it for 10, but he got like a really good version of the box in fourth print. And he ended up paying like 12 grand for it. And that same box today is going to hit $30,000 by the end of this month.
Yeah, their
Like
prices are
that's
going
the thing.
nuts.
Like yeah, the prices just they go up like crazy, and that's something that's like that's why I don't really want to sell stuff too, unless I really have to. Because like if you sell it for no reason, what's gonna happen like 2 months from now or a year from now? That same box is gonna be more ridiculous. I have a friend who cracked the first edition box 2 years ago and sold the packs for like $1,000 each. So about he made a decent amount off of that. But again, that same box sold for 200,000 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's it's getting out of hand. Like I don't know. Do you follow was it TCG that for the community page where there's a lot of listings of things for
Yes.
sale. So if you saw even I think it was today 30,000 for the unlimited box for the
I saw
Pokemon
that. I
box.
saw that. Yeah.
And
Now
all
that is probably like on the higher end.
yeah.
I don't know if someone's gonna actually bite and try to take that, but like still, another one when I first got into YouTube, I bought a Neo Destiny first edition box for $3,000. And by the way,
Oh,
that's when I got into Pokemon back. And I remember I was
it's a
like,
good deal.
"You about to hit pay now on $3,000 for a single box? That's ridiculous." But I wanted it, and I'm glad I made that choice because that same box today is like $45,000. Like
That's
the
it's.
price of this stuff gets nuts.
I feel you, man. If anything, 2 years ago when I bought my first set LOB wavy box and picked it
Mm.
up for 4 grand, I was like shaking, paying for it, man. Like this is a lot
Yeah,
of
right.
money. And now thinking about it, oh wow, that was a smart move,
Smart move. I mean, if you look at trading cards, it sometimes it's smarter to get into this than the stock market
Right.
because the stock market can just do this. You can invest a lot in the stock market and lose a lot. But I feel like in trading cards, just collectibles in general, if you are in it for just the money, because some people aren't in it for just the money. If you do it the smart way, you can probably make a lot of money.
So if anything, I mean, the nostalgia point means more to you than the actual value of
Yeah.
anything in your collection.
Mm-hmm.
That I appreciate that comment there, man. That's cool, man, because not everybody can say that.
Yeah.
A lot
I
of
mean, like
people.
right next to me, I had a subscriber who sent me like his old collection of cards,
Oh,
and
wow.
they're not in the best condition. I feel like I don't even care how bad these are. Like, look, this is super bent. You can kind of see the marks, but it's still Summon Skull. This is like one of the original Summon Skulls from the tins. Like, this stuff
Oh,
to me is
wow.
just mad cool. Like, I don't care what the conditions are of these. Like, first of all, this man sent me his childhood one, and two, it's just when I see stuff like this again, I'm just like, bruh,
Wow.
this is like I love this stuff.
That's epic, though. You can tell he definitely played with those when he was a
Yeah,
kid and
he
building
definitely
everything.
played.
That's epic. Oh man, this is good. I'm having fun.
Mhm.
Hope you are too.
Yeah.
Um, like so like the market wise though, do you see it continuing this skyward trend right now? Do you see it leveling off? What's your opinion on that?
Absolutely is going to keep going up. I mean, I feel like we're going to get to a point eventually where it kind of slows down because the thing that we had in the past year specifically is it's been a sharp rise. Like I said, when I got a Neo Genesis box last August, and between August and like February, it gone up a couple $1,000. But then out of nowhere, it gets to like 30 grand. I'm like, it's been like 2 months. Like, what happened? Like right now, we're just in this like constant growth. You know, there might be a small crash or a small fall, but it's gonna keep going up. Because like what I always like to like tell myself is like I remember when I got a Skyridge Crystal Charizard back in 2019, 2018-ish.
Yeah.
At the time, it was selling for like $5,000 as a PSA 10, which is a lot of money. But I mean, Charizard, it was selling for $5,000. And I remember I saw one pop up on Troll and Toad for 1,800. I'm like, let's risk it. Worst case scenario, if it's bad, I'll just send it back. I got a grade, it came back as a 10.
Wow.
I'm like, man, that's a win. $1,800, that's $5,000. But then the card crashed, and the PSA 10 was like $1,200, and I'm like, what? I could have just bought a 10. I mean, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it ended up being a 10 anyways. But I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter because a month from now, a year from now, it's going to be probably $2,000, then $3,000, then $4,000. So it's never a situation where it was like, I lost money, because like it's always going to keep going up. Sometimes it will go back up a lot faster than other times. It might have a small disc, but it's always going to keep doing this. And it's actually funny because I think right now there's one on PWCC as well. No, it's Shining Charizard. There's a Shining Charizard right now on PWCC that's hovering around $15,000, which is crazy. And I know a friend of mine just bought a Crystal Charizard for $10,000 for PSA 10. So it's like it's always going to keep going up, but it might just be doing this over time.
Wow. Well, I hope it keeps going up, at least on certain things, because I have the biggest listing, and I have, and some people call me crazy on it. And I don't know if you're familiar at all with Beanie Babies at all, but I have the Princess Diana Beanie Baby from Indonesia. There was only like 20 of them ever made in 1997. Only one day they cut production, same day, and because they had poison in the pellets. So they cut production from Indonesia. They moved it to China, mass-produced the Princess Diana Beanie Baby. But out of the 20, I lucked out and found it at a swap meet 10 years ago. Got it graded, authenticated, the highest it can be, and it's on eBay right now for $1 million. So it might not ever sell. I've had a few people interested in it actually. I've had a few offers, not obviously at that price point, but if it ever did sell, that would be a wonderful day. Let me tell you.
That to me is what's so cool about collectibles. It's limited. It's like it doesn't matter how much money you make over your time. You could be a billionaire. If there's only 20 or something and someone doesn't want to sell it to you, that you can't have it.
Right.
Like, and I think that's what's cool about collectibles for me in general. It's just like stuff is so limited. And I think that's why everything's been growing the way it has, because more and more people are falling back into the stuff that they grew up with, and they have probably higher revenue and funds now. And that's why everybody is just fighting each other to get these boxes. I mean, again, first edition Shadowless booster box sold for $200,000 two Fridays ago, and that to me is nuts. Because prior to that, a sale had happened for $66,000 like a month prior to that.
Well,
again, if there's people out there they'll pay for it and buy it, there's going to be a bigger market for it over time.
Well, the reason you're seeing that, I think, is it's sealed, it's dead stock. They don't make it anymore. They're never going to make it again. Every time somebody opens one up on their channel or this, that means there's one less on the market. That means there's one less that no one can get, which makes the value go up higher. Basic economics. But I think that you're just going to continue to see that trend.
Yep. That's why I think PSA 10s are also going to be more popular, because like I think the mentality a lot of people have for PSA 10s is, oh well, you can make more boxes, but you can make more PSA 10s. And big shout out to Yugiohprodigy, but ZNG has kind of been covering like the WotC era Pokemon cards on his channel for like the last couple of months, and every single month he just shows you, look, there's only been 2 more 10s that were added in this pile. There's been only 1 more 10 added in this pile. There's been no Lugias for Neo Genesis has been added in like a year and a half almost. I graded the 40th one. I think actually it's 41 as of today. But like I pulled an unlimited Typhlosion 17, and it's funny, when I pulled it, there was only 2 PSA 10s in the world. And then both me and somebody else who had pulled one as well happened to pull like the perfect one, and we got it both graded, and now it's at 4.
Wow.
It's like PSA 10s will always grow on a slower rate, but I feel like it's going to get to the point where people will realize that, okay, just because people are opening packs doesn't mean everything's always going to be minty 10, because the thing about it is you open a pack, it's off center or has like that print line, it's not going to hit 10. I feel like 9s are probably going to get even more popular because they'll be more in reach. But that alone will just make people hungry for 10s, and that's what's going to make 10s skyrocket even more. But again, as you said, more 10s can be made, but there's not going to be another Neo Genesis box produced. There's not going to be another base set box produced, an LV box, yada, yada, yada. That's the reason why I actually got into sealed collectibles as well.
Right. Well, you were saying ZNG Emporion, that guy, I believe he has 2 first ed base boxes. He had one of them for sale a while back, and I don't know if he ever sold it or
Yeah.
not. But
I don't know if he sold it, but I know he has. I feel like he probably has two.
yeah, man, it's some of these big guys, man. You got like Jew. I know I saw him. He has two, base set
Mhm.
boxes. Rev definitely has a few going.
And then you got Gary from Pawn Stars that has
The
like 40
case.
Charizards. He's got like 10 PSA 10 first editions.
Oh man, yeah, Gary's cool. I got to hang out with
Mhm.
Gary a while back.
Yeah,
We
he's a
opened
good
up a
dude.
few things, and it's a cool guy,
I
man.
definitely. It's funny. Back in like I want to say back in March before like the big skyrocket of everything, I tried to actually offer him all my sealed boxes for one,
Really?
and he was like, you know what? I'll think about it. But then all of a sudden, empty skyrocketed, and I'm like, you know what? I'm glad we didn't do that deal back then because back then, I had like 4 boxes that were worth probably around 50 grand when he put them together. Maybe I'd have to put out a couple more, but now having a single box is worth like 60 grand. So it's like, I'm glad I knew that trade, and I'm glad he didn't accept it because I would have been looking back like, what?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about with Gary. I think it was like 2012. It was right when I was getting out of college. Funds weren't that great at the time, but there was a first ed base boost Pokemon booster box, and it was selling for, I think the auction was at like 4,500 in 2012, and I'm pretty sure I was bidding against Gary. I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure because I missed out on that auction by like I think it was like 1,000, but it was overwhelming. Changing the subject again. What YouTube channels do you actually watch?
I watch a lot of card opening stuff. So, I mean, collectibles is a big thing for me. So I like to, luckily, someone like ZNG always uploads in the mornings. Well, actually, I think he uploads in the evenings. So when I wake up, I'll just watch him in the mornings. I watch a lot of TCA as well. But from the non-collectible stuff, I watch a lot of Dashi. Again, Mario Maker is like, I love Mario Maker, and I like watching people play to like ridiculously levels created by the community. So I watch a lot of Dashi. But outside of that, I'm mostly just into card openings. Shout out to Leonhardt, shout out to TCA, just anybody that does card openings.
Yeah, Leonhardt's awesome, man. I sent him the little mini booster box. I don't know if you saw that on his channel a while back.
Yeah.
I sent him that little thing. That was cool. You couldn't
And every
find
now
us
and
down
then
there.
you'll DM me for your Sunday videos. I'm like, oh, got something else to watch. I just like watching card openings and see people react to like when they get those classic hollows.
Oh yeah, I pulled Jen's a while back. I went bananas, man. It was one of the coolest things. With like content creators, who would you say out of everyone that's out there, who would you say is your favorite, or do you have a favorite?
I can't say that I have a favorite. I would say a lot of my friends are probably my favorite. Big shout out to C Reacts, Dado, Afro Senju. A lot of people in my friend circle. I mean, they inspire me to just
keep going.
Think, not just keep going, but to think more outside the box. Because prior to it, I used to be just when I was doing daily uploads and when I had my old job, I was just so into just being a robot, just autopiloting, that I didn't really think about like how to change up my content. And it wasn't until I met them and saw how they were doing theirs, I'm like, you know what, I can be better. Like they pushed me to want to like be more creative and switch it up.
For people that have smaller channels like myself, for instance, what would you recommend to, I guess the word I'm looking for, to get a broader audience, to get more people involved, to get your name out there more? What would you say?
The big one is you gotta think different, and something like that you do is like you do your openings in different locations all the time. Like that's unique. Think about right now is like if you get into YouTube, especially in 2020, when I got into it in 2011, 2012, there weren't as many people doing it. It's probably like a fraction of how people are doing it today.
Right.
And it was a lot easier to stand out, especially when the community was just basically forming around whatever content was being made. Now it's like you try to do card opening stuff, for example, or if you want to do like Dragon Ball stuff, or just you want to follow the new games like Fortnite or even go back to Minecraft. There's so many people doing it. It's like, what do you do to stand out? So you got to figure out how you can stand out, because the thing is like, why? It's kind of like, why should someone watch you as opposed to who's already established and stuff like that? Well, the answer is because you bring something else to the table. So what I always recommend to people who are new is, one, keep going, always keep uploading, and try to figure out how to stand out. Because like if you know that if someone clicks on your video on your channel that they'll stay for future stuff, it's like you're doing something right. That makes sense.
Right.
So at that point, then you gotta learn the algorithm. It's like, okay, how can I get an algorithm to get one person to watch, 2 people to watch, 10 people, 100 people? the answer to that is it just happens over time. Something that one reason why I started doing daily uploads back in 2014 is just because I knew that if I do it every single day, the 10 people watching will turn to 100, will turn to 1,000. And I remember I used to always have goals for myself, like 100 views a video, 1,000 views a video, 10,000 views a video. And once I started hitting that and really getting into the groove of YouTube, it just kind of started happening naturally. Because the thing about YouTube for me is it's never been about blowing up or getting like internet cloud or making money. It was just about creating something fun around the stuff that you grew up with and love, and then having other people come and enjoy that too. Because at that point, people will just attach to like that genuine energy and emotion that they get from the video that you put out.
Right.
So it's not like it's forced content and stuff like that. Like, because a lot of times I see people who get burned out and start a YouTube channel, like videos won't hit as many views or they're not making any money. And I'm like, you should be focused on that. All you should be focused on right now is just making content and having fun with it. And when people click on it, whether it be 1, 2, 10, over time, it's gonna work. You just have to be consistent with it and just keep doing it for fun. And then everything else that comes with being a content creator will follow over time.
So just being consistent and just having, like, would you say like narrow your, like, I feel like sometimes, or at least I feel like my content is very too specific. Do you think being more broad on it, doing other things, or?
Yes and no. So the specific stuff, because I'm a niche content creator as well. When it comes down to doing Dragon Ball stuff, niche I feel like is better because it allows you to stand out more within the smaller communities of stuff.
Right.
But the thing is, if you try to get too far off into expanding, people might not want to enjoy that. So, for example, with me, it's like, when I was doing Dragon Ball content for years, and then next thing you know, I'm doing Mario every single Monday. People don't want to watch that. They were like, "This isn't Dragon Ball." Like, I get to think to yourself as a viewer, what will make you not want to click on a content creator? Like, I have a lot of people that I watch for them, but there's certain videos that I will not watch because I don't care about the game that they cover or whatever they're playing. So you want to try to stick within the niches around what you do. So, for example, I open Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon on my channel, and I know they don't really mix, but they are cards, they are collectibles, so you can kind of get crossover there. But let's say I started, doing something like shoe reviews or sports on my card channel. It's like people will be like, you'll get a small percentage of people that may want to watch and be interested in that, but a lot of people will be like, that's not what I signed up for.
Oh, wow. No, that's good advice, man. I like that a lot. That's very personal stuff right there. I'll take that to heart right there. I'm going to ask you one final question, and then we're going to do what is like a lightning round, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a second. But this question, out of the whole series, I haven't asked this to anybody, so I'm hoping it's kind of unique. But what are 3 things that you feel like you and I have in common?
One, I would definitely say the passion, because the thing I like about your stuff is like because I actually do watch your videos whenever you send it to me.
Wow.
I like to see the excitement and opening the packs. And a lot of times I feel like when you watch people open packs, like they'll be excited, but they're missing the soul. And I feel like you and I both have like the soul when it comes down to being excited about pulling a Jinzo or a Buster Blade or something like that.
Right.
You said 3 things.
Yeah, 3.
So the next one would definitely be also the passion in collecting, because I can also tell that you're really into the stuff, not because of it being valuable or the money. You just like the stuff because you grew up with it. And for a third one, I guess we're both just insanely goofy, and like the energy, like what I'm talking about. It's like just the energy is very, very addicting. It's like when people watch a video, you want to keep watching.
Man, that's what's up. You hit the nail on the head there. Being goofy, man. I don't know. I can be quirky at times, and just I don't know. It's just fun.
Well, it's because what I noticed with you, it's like a lot of times people as they get old, it's like like let me not get into that because maybe they just forget where they came from. But like it's like you could tell that you kept that the stuff that you love. Like it's like you're a child at heart. And you never like really, really grew up. That makes sense. Like you try to keep that stuff too close, and that is just something that's so cool because literally, as we were both probably kids, we were probably always told like we're not gonna have time for that. You're not gonna have room for that. Like, hey, you gotta do your homework. You gotta go focus on your job. Yada yada yada. Like, and the fact that we're both able to keep that, I think, is just mad cool.
No, it is. If anything, being a grown kid, man, I'll never.
Like I always tell people, like, never grow. I mean, grow up, but never grow up. Never forget where you came from, because like. I see so many people that are just so miserable and they're not happy. And like when you look at the source, the reason why they're not happy is because they abandon the things that they love. Like the stuff that they grew up with. At some point, they just decide, I'm not gonna go back to this stuff. I'm gonna focus on what's at hand, and then they're just always miserable.
Right.
That's always tell people, like, if there's something you love, hang on to it forever.
Yeah, man, that's exciting. Let's get this last thing here for you. We're gonna do a lightning round, and I'm pretty much just gonna ask you a would you rather have this or this, and it's just gonna be 15 questions. It's kind of like a quick off the top of your head. Don't think of it too intense, I guess, or too in depth. But first one is Charizard or Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Charizard.
Dark Magician girl.
Girl.
Ash or Gary.
Gary.
Yugi or Kaiba.
Kaiba.
MRD or MFC.
MFC.
Buying or selling.
Buying.
Prize cards or booster boxes.
Booster boxes.
Blister packs or booster packs.
Blister packs.
PSA or BGS.
PSA.
Instagram or Twitter.
Twitter.
Amazon or eBay.
eBay.
Glossy or wavy.
Wavy.
Quality or quantity.
Quality.
Opening or keep sealed.
Keep sealed.
And then the last one, collection or clout.
Collection.
Gosh, those are awesome answers, man.
That was a fun one.
Was that fun? I thought it.
Yeah.
I really had to. I was thinking about those questions. I was like, man, what can I do? Maybe stump them or make them think about it a little bit. So,
so the one that made me think for a second was, you said Ash or Gary.
Yeah.
I said Gary, but the reason why I said Gary is because I actually don't like Ash or Gary, but I like Blue, who Gary is based off of in the manga, and I think Blue's like one of the coolest characters in the Pokemon universe.
Right. Oh yeah, he had the coolest stuff, man. I don't know if you watched the show as a kid, but he always was up on one up on Ash in every episode, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much all the questions, at least that I came up with. Was there anything else that you wanted to add, or how did you feel there?
I think we're pretty much good. I mean, I tossed out a question at you, so yeah, I think I kind of got everything that I wanted out of it.
Well, if anything, oh yeah. Well, if anything, Rhymestyle, man, I appreciate your time today, man. This was so fun for me, hopefully for you. I learned a lot today, knowledge-wise, and pretty excited about it. Like, man, it was really fun. I'd love to just say, check out this guy's channel, which we will link in the description. But if anything, this was really fun, very entertaining. Hopefully, it's good knowledge base for the community as well. But this is the finale. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And until the next video, Yugiohprodigy and Rhymestyle. I'll let you guys later.
And the next one, Dark Necrofear.
Necrofear.
That is a huge pull, guys.
Oh my goodness.
We're hoping to get red eyes,
I know.
blue eyes, of course.
No, blue eyes.
Oh, baby! Oh! Different dimension fusion. Oh, baby.
Oh, man.
First edition. That's what we're talking about. Oh, my God!